Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Monday, April 17th.
We'll be many years in the pursuit. I think we are achieving very successful steps.
Just 2 weeks before the case would head to trial, County Attorney Al Hadid says the sole holdout has signed crucial easements that will allow a long-delayed dune renourishment project in Flagler Beach to move forward. Hadid says the property owner took more than a year to sign the easements. Under the agreement, property owners give up no rights, but they permit the Army Corps on their property to complete the work.
The real challenge is educating people about what it is you're doing and what it is you're not doing. Many people are automatically fearful of the government. So that becomes a huge challenge in overcoming them, because you're saying essentially, I'm here to help you. And they're saying, oh yeah. So they have to understand a lot about what is happening in weather cycles, how erosion occurs.
Hadid says those delays come at a cost.
We have to take the entire 50-year volume of sand that we had calculated back in 2018, 2019. We have to apply that entire 50-year volume today in order to do a proper renourishment of the beach in that 2.6 miles because of the degree of the erosion.
The project will renourish a 2.5-mile stretch of dunes south of Flagler Beach Pier and is part of the state's plans to protect A1A. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you.
A Palm Coast man is arrested after an explosion in the F section. Sheriff's deputies were called to Fernwood Lane and Fleetwood Drive Friday for reports of an explosion in a swale drain near the intersection. Deputies say witnesses told them a man was seen fleeing the scene in a white box truck. That man, deputies say, was Michael Blum, who's known to police. Police have been to his home 25 times in response to fireworks complaints. Blum was arrested a short time later and charged with discharging a destructive device, resisting an officer, and violating his probation. Now he's being held without bond at the Flagler County Jail. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
A new law will allow Floridians to carry a concealed weapon without a permit.
19th District Representative and Speaker of the House Paul Renner describes what the law does and doesn't do.
What has been misrepresented is it removes a background check. If you go buy a gun, you have to pass the same background check. And if you're a convicted felon or don't meet the other criteria that you had to meet before to carry concealed, you can't carry concealed. It simply says you don't have to separately go to the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, pay a fee, wait for a permit, and do all those things before you can carry concealed, which aligns us with the Constitution, which clearly does not make that requirement.
Lawmakers are also looking at reforming existing legislation.
We'll be dealing with bail reform, where you've had some judges in kind of liberal-leaning counties that have said, well, we're just not going to require any kind of bail or bond. We're just going to book them and let them go. And what we've seen is those people then get let go and hurt someone. And so we're going to have standardized bail throughout the state. And we're also strengthening punishments for people who are stealing guns out of cars, who are using guns in the commission of crimes. And we need to get tougher and tougher on them and make clear that if you steal a gun, we're going to start treating that like a violent crime.
For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
A notorious criminal who had been evading the law for quite some time was finally arrested last week in Daytona Beach. Daniel Marashi, a fugitive from Flagler County, was arrested by the Problem Area Crime Enforcement Unit of the Flagler County Sheriff's Office and the Violent Crime Apprehension Team of the Daytona Beach Police Department. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley.
Another fugitive found out the hard way he could not flee Flagler County and avoid being held accountable for his charges and seeing the judge. Working with the Daytona Beach Police Department, our Problem Area Crime Enforcement Team apprehended this well-known dirtbag who's been arrested multiple times for trafficking amounts in possession of narcotics. When he was found and located in Daytona Beach and arrested, he once again had a smorgasbord of trafficking amounts of drugs. Time for him to go to prison. Let's hold him accountable. Great job, and we appreciate the assistance, Daytona Beach PD.
Marashi had 2 outstanding felony warrants and was wanted on drug charges and leaving the scene of a crash with injuries. He is being held on a $45,000 bond for Daytona Beach Police Department charges and no bond on the Flagler County warrants. What's it like to rent a place to live in Flagler County?
On this week's Real Estate Matters, Jeff Douglas of Douglas Property and Development said that while rental properties, whether they're apartments or single-family houses, get a bad rap, there is an issue that stands out.
In Palm Coast, 99.9% of the crimes all in the single-family home area. But yet the multifamily gets all the grief.
Jeff Douglas said that while the public perception of rental housing may be negative, the statistics do not bear that out. Listen to Real Estate Matters on WNZF Saturday mornings at 11 or anytime on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, one way to build a multifamily property. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.